are an entrepreneur, you're taking the intangible and you're manifesting it externally, right? Your business plan is essentially a prophetic document. You don't have these customers yet. You don't have this money yet. You don't have, this marketing strategy. None of this. All you're doing is
Well, hello there, Flawless family. Ooh, I'm so happy to see y'all again. It is I, Tiara Walker Holloway, and welcome back to episode 23 of Winning Mindsets, Flawless Living Made Simple. Now, today, I am so very excited to have in the building the motivational entrepreneur. This guy, ever since I met him, he has always had a good word, a positive thing to impart, and always some knowledge to keep you going. So let's give a warm welcome to Money Briggs. Hey!
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Thank you for coming on the show. So now, I just said you and I met actually, I recall, all the way back probably about 4 or 5 years ago, okay? And at that time, you were moving and grooving, handling your business, and we would always just break off and have these small conversations, and they would always be like motivational, right? We would begin talking about one thing and jump to another subject,
right.
But every time I would end up with a glimpse of some knowledge of something that I didn't quite know before.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is that what I like most about watching you move and groove for these past 4 or 5 years since I've known you is that if nothing, which we know is way more than that, you are consistent.
Yeah.
Now, tell people about you. Introduce yourself to our audience.
Yeah, absolutely. So, born name is DeGeon. In the area, I've been known as Money Briggs. Award-winning entrepreneur, started in ministry very young, transitioned into full-time entrepreneurship 2020. In 2020, we became one of State Farm's the number one life insurance agency in the Hampton Roads area.
Wow.
In the DMV area, we were ranked number 3 in life insurance, number 2 in investment advising. 2021, wow. We became top 10% nationwide across 19,500 agents. In all lines of business. From that point, we started 4 6-figure businesses in a 4-year time frame, so 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023. Wow. And so we grew into business coaching and then had a contract with the city of Newport News, and then we started the software company.
Well, you know what? That was a great summary because we are about to dig in it, okay? Yeah. Now, earlier, as we were kind of talking a little bit about your background, you said that you weren't originally born here, but you grew up here. You came here in your teens, right? So now, tell us about that transition from, you're from New York, you said. Where in New York?
I'm from a place called Newburgh, New York. It's the most violent city in the state of New York per capita. So, Newburgh, if you pull it up, like, it's kind of being gentrified, but growing up, it reflected like, I always only could say a third world country. We didn't have any metro system or anything like that. So it's about an hour over Manhattan.
Wow.
And it was not the best environment if you wanted to have a productive, successful life. Okay. And so a court decision was made for me to move from Newburgh with my mom down to Virginia with my dad.
And so what was that transition like? And let me tell you why. Let me preface this with saying I'm from Baltimore City, right? And you know that. Yeah. So I understand coming from, because I went from Baltimore City to Cincinnati. Yeah. So I can understand how
it was
coming
dreadful.
From, yeah.
It was dreadful. I couldn't go to sleep because of how quiet it was, So where my dad lived was a good suburban, nice community. But it took some adjusting. My temperament was different than what most of my peers were in the suburban community. Things that I found offensive, I guess they may not have. So it taught me a lot in how to manage my emotions. And I always say you really don't know. And this is for a lot of people who grow up in inner city communities, right? Like, we don't know how, I guess you could say, traumatic, or we don't know how different our way of life is until we're into another situation. And so, like, I tell people all the time, a lion doesn't know anything about concrete, right? A lion only knows the jungle. So while most people will say, well, you should naturally be this way, our environment contributes a lot to our emotions and our emotions to our actions and so on and so forth. And so I had to learn a different way of life.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I definitely can kind of mirror that with coming from Baltimore and then going to Cincinnati, from such an urban environment to a super suburban environment, even though it was like where we were, they felt it was tough. The residents, you know, not a rough neighborhood, but I'm talking about the students, you know, you're in high school and stuff like that. They felt tough. And it's like, but coming from coming from where I was coming from, it was super soft, you know, and no disrespect, you know, to Cincinnati or anything. It just was a totally different experience. As a matter of fact, I've said many times on the show, one of the reasons why when I got out of the military, I stayed here was because I went home and I said, nah, I don't want to do this. I don't want to live this hard like this. I don't want to, and I was young, you know, and I was making a decision on my own. So you make the decision like, you know what, it seems like way softer in Virginia. You know what I'm saying? Now, I wasn't on the street side of things to know differently at that point, but I just knew that it was not the same as being in Baltimore. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely can speak to having to adapt and understand different environments. So you ended up finishing, you know, school here. And then did you end up going to school? Did you go to college? Or what were your next steps after school?
I went to college for like a year or two. I went to ODU. And I dropped out and just went to work.
You know? And ODU was kind of, I feel like ODU has changed a lot. I said this on a recent episode. I feel like ODU has changed a lot in that they have a lot more diversity now. And I feel like that they've embraced their community as a whole versus the feeling. Now, that's not to say it wasn't like that when I came here, but I know when I was choosing colleges, because that's what I did. I got out and went straight to Norfolk State, right? Because it resonated with me. It was my people, you know? So I definitely get it. So you do that and you went into pastoring. Now, how did you even, is your dad, is your mom? Okay, so your dad's a pastor.
Yeah. So my dad's a pastor. My grandfather is a pastor. My grandmother is a pastor.
Oh, really?
My great uncle is a pastor.
Wow. Is it a big church?
So my great uncle, he had a really big church back in Newburgh. So he has a street named after him and everything.
Wow.
My grandfather, my grandmother, they were pastors in Brooklyn. And then in Maryland, Owen Mills, Maryland. My dad, he does most of his work in Africa. So Mozambique just took a trip in March of this year. We went to Ghana. We were in Ghana for about 10 days. And so,
Okay. And so is that like, when you say he does work in Africa, is that like, what is that called?
Missionary work.
Yes, is that missionary work?
Yeah, so he does missionary work. He's helped to build churches over there.
Wow.
He's worked with schools and providing them with restroom facilities so they don't have to, you know, use the restroom
outside.
And so he does a lot of work there.
Wow, that's amazing. That is truly amazing. So now the thing is that you made the choice to go into pastoring. Is that what you call it, pastoring?
Yeah.
Okay, so
ministry.
Ministry. Thank you, ministry. Listen, you know, if you watch this show, this is winning mindsets. Now, I know a lot about a lot of things. When I don't know, real leaders can say they don't know, so that I can learn. And I don't always know the right words to call it, but I am giving it its due reverence and respect. That's why I asked. So, as you went into ministry, what made you make that choice?
Man, I got into ministry when I was maybe about 15 years old, so I was still very, very young.
Okay.
And it just felt like, it just felt like a calling.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like a fish in water. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So it was something that I just, my parents tell it. I was in this way since I was like 2 years old.
Okay.
So I do sermons and stuff as a baby, and I'd go so hard. They'd be like, you got to stop him before he hurt himself. My grandma would be like, nah, he's fine.
Right.
But I can't really explain outside of it feeling like a calling. It just felt something very, very natural. It wasn't something that, was forced upon me. It wasn't something that I was told to do. It was just something that like I said, it's like a bird flying, Mm-hmm. I think that not just, I could say ministry, but more so for people when you are operating in your purpose.
Got it.
Right? Mm-hmm. When you're operating in your purpose, there is a level of ease that comes with it mm-hmm. that other people may struggle with. Mm-hmm. That for you, it's just like I wake up and I just do it. And so when I got into ministry, I always knew that I had an encouraging ministry. So what you talked about earlier, right? Mm-hmm. Is that motivational piece that's just who I am through mm-hmm. and through. Mm-hmm. And so I could look at people or look at situations and see the silver lining. Mm-hmm. And that's just one of the great gifts that I've been blessed and fortunate to have.
Yep, I appreciate that. I want to just highlight something because this is winning mindsets, okay? So it's very rarely that we have a conversation with someone that says it felt like being a fish in water, mm-hmm. right? Mm-hmm. That's powerful. That is powerful, right? And then to say there is an ease that comes from operating in your purpose that is so natural that it may seem challenging for others, but for you, it just flows. Mm-hmm. All of that kind of water analogy and just kind of shaping that together in that it's all about flow and ease, right?
Right.
And as we kind of, before we started talking on air, I was saying to you that this whole season is for me about wellness, mm-hmm. right? In all those 4 areas that, in these physical bodies matter to us. Mm-hmm. And so I just appreciate you sharing that because someone may be just inspired by knowing that ease is when you kind of have an inclination or you have a guidepost or a guide point of saying, hey, this is my purpose. Mm-hmm. Even when it may not be as clear to others yet, right? Because I know that is my story 1,000 times. It's like certain things come to me with ease, mm-hmm. right? And it may not seem like it to others because they may not understand that vision, right? But as long as you know that you're flowing in the right direction when we're talking about feeling like a fish in water, mm-hmm. that's powerful. Yeah. That is super powerful. So now you go away from ministry. Yeah. Not go away completely though, because I met you. Actually, wait a minute. I just remembered. I came to your conference. You had like a conference gala.
The Black Business Festival.
Yeah, I came to that. Now that I think about it, because look, I'm looking at you in this vest, and I'm thinking, this guy's always sharp. And then I remembered that tux from that event with the spinning, party stuff. Mm-hmm. And I came to, thanks to my good friend and connector, Sonia Z. Phillips, okay? And she said, you need to be there. And I was like, let me get up in there. So it was nice. And I made some good connections that night. And I think, I saw you then too. Mm-hmm. At the start of my business. So I know that you may not be, and I don't know to speak to this, you may not be actively in ministry. Yeah. However, in the midst of us enjoying that good food and having that light refreshments, right? There was a lot of the power of God in that room. Yeah. It was a lot of conversation and a lot of ministry, but not in a way of uncomfortable, right? Like not in a way to off-center anyone, but to more ground everybody in the room in the purpose of that moment. Yeah. So I see. So, okay, but you don't do that as a career now.
Yeah, no.
Okay, no, so you don't do that.
So I always tell people, like, in 2020 is when I left traditional ministry.
Okay.
That's how I always frame it, right? Like traditional ministry says I'm in a pulpit, I'm doing so on and so forth.
Right.
For me, entrepreneurship has been such a great vehicle for ministry.
Okay.
And I tell people all the time, like, as entrepreneurs, we are professional problem solvers. And for me, ministry is practical just as much as it is spiritual. Right. And so when I got into the State Farm side and doing insurance and financial services, it was really about impacting the Black community. Right. And so most of the people who were coming into church, they would pray, we worship, we get a word on Sunday, and then on Monday they had a different experience than what they saw on Sunday, right? And a lot of times that tied back to some level of financial constraint. And so the thing was, there are practical ways, that we could take principles and apply them to our lives and find success, right? And so through that avenue, and talking through people through finances and working through budgets and going through insurance plans and investments and all these other kinds of things, we've had life insurance claims, right? Which means that somebody's loved one passed away.
Yes, absolutely.
And so to be able to be in that moment and to guide them through from an insurance way, but also from an emotional and spiritual and all that kind of thing. So ministry just shifted to outside of the traditional ways.
No, I know. And it's very interesting that you made that pivot. And so are you saying, let me just get there. Are you saying that you first got into insurance in 2020?
Yep.
Really?
Yeah. So, it's
wait,
a God moment. I
that's what I'm about to say. That's what I'm about to say, because I'm like, wait a minute. Okay. So what you're saying is that you went from 0 to 1?
Yeah.
Number 1?
Yeah.
Okay, tell us about it.
Yeah.
I mean, we know God. Come on now. Come on now.
Like I said, I'm from Newburgh, New York. So I didn't know that financial advising was even a career path until I was 28 years old.
Okay.
Right? And I got licensed in 2019. That's when I got my life insurance license in 2018, excuse me. Got my life insurance license in 2018. I sold my first life insurance policy in 2019. Okay. I had a great mentor who, again, just divine intervention, met him on a whim. And ultimately, he asked me to come and do what I was doing with life insurance part-time.
Okay.
So I started that January 2019, doing it part-time. My background, so people understand, I was working in a call center prior to that.
Okay.
I was always really great at sales, but I was in a call center. And so January 2019, I sold my first policy. I was doing so well part-time that I was their number one life insurance agent in the Hampton market. And in June of 2019, I got offered the opportunity to open up my own office.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's smoking hot.
Yeah. February 2020, we opened the office. COVID hit right then. And when I opened the office, no one in my office had ever sold a car insurance policy before. And so we opened up, and like I said, we hit the races. But a lot of what we did was great marketing. And I see entrepreneurship as a spiritual journey in and of itself. Okay. Honestly, because when you are an entrepreneur, you're taking the intangible and you're manifesting it externally, right? Your business plan is essentially a prophetic document. You don't have these customers yet. You don't have this money yet. You don't have, this marketing strategy. None of this. All you're doing is you are literally writing down prophetically, this is what I believe my business is going to be able to do, right? And so during that time of 2020, I think that's one of the things that I was able to communicate really, really well, was what our purpose and what our mission was, and who our audience was, and understanding that we wanted to work with African American millennials. That was our audience. And the reason I felt led to work with that demographic is because not only am I African American millennial, but I also saw how overlooked we are when it comes to financial, literacy and things.
You know what? Okay. You gotta stop.
Okay.
Because this is winning mindsets. Okay. So you said your business plan.
Yeah.
I hope you got your notes because I wrote this one down. Is a prophetic document.
Yeah.
That's a smoker. Okay. Now, also, I want to thank you. Because I think that I am not, I'm sure, I'm certain, I don't think that I'm certain. I am not a millennial. I'm above that. What's the one right before you?
I don't even
Z, X, Z, Generation X. I'm Generation X, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So that means 70s and 80s, like 70s and 80s. Okay. So the thing is that Erica Badu, who everybody knows I love deeply, she said that the music she was making in the 90s is for your generation. And I tell people all the time of my generation how you millennials make me so proud because everything that I've been trying to do since the start of my career in the early 2000s, you guys not only are doing, but you are doing it together. When I first got into real estate in 2005, 2004, I was trying to convince my contemporaries that it was more important to own a house than a car, right? And I'm going around like trying to do all of this, not same as now, nonprofit, primarily focused on African American people. My company's core values are to serve the overlooked and unseen, right? However, in my generation, we still have so much of that Gen Z energy and certain mindsets that to work together. Do you know how hard and how long it's taken for me to hear people of my generation say, I work with Black people because the mindset up until probably 6 years ago was Black people always late, Black people always under-deliver. Like we internalized what we were told about ourselves for so many decades that it's like millennials have freed that. Like, you guys don't know that I'm like one of your biggest advocates in my generation because I'm like, no, them kids is smart and got money because we cleared the path. Like, meaning like my generation, the 5-6 years before you guys, those of us that's born in the late 70s and that early 80 period, right before millennial starts, right? That 5-year period, because my brother is 5 years younger than me. That 5-year period, we are the ones that were your big sisters and brothers through the crack era.
Absolutely.
We were the ones that had to be super, super mature, but we protected you guys and shielded you and let you see. So we made a lot of mistakes. And we were drawn into a lot of shiny suits, right? We were. And we wanted all the material because we had the money in a real way, in the streets and in business. Like our generation, that 90s coming up in the 90s, to 20s and contemporary, like we had real money. We still do, a lot of us. You know what I'm saying? Have real money. But no, we didn't know what to do with it.
Right.
But through those mistakes, your generation actually, and the advent of this technology.
Absolutely. And
all of the technology that we have and all the access to information combined, I feel like made you guys like superheroes. Like, and I just love your mindset because I talk to so many millennials that are close to me, and even the people that I kind of like hang with. Some of my closest friends are like that, you know, late, early, millennial age, right? Where it's like, because we relate more. Because that's been my goal all along. So I just want to just thank you for being one of those advocates, for understanding that the power is within us. And we don't need anyone else. And not because we don't like them or we don't want them. No, it's because they don't want us first and foremost, right? They don't want us. But secondly, it's because we have wealth. We have mental wealth, physical wealth, and actual tangible wealth. We can work with each other and be so powerful. So I just, I know I just went off on a rant, but
that's so good.
I just had to say that because it's like, it's crazy that I talk to people my age that just still don't understand that. And I've been beating this drum since 2005. You know what I'm saying? So to be able to now have people and be surrounded by people that understand that we can just work with each other by choosing that, and that we are excellence in real time. Is amazing.
So that's what that Black Business Festival event was all about, right? So for that one event, we did $19,000 to the Black community throughout that event. Every part of that event every part that touched that event was Black. The facility, the lights, the catering, everything was Black owned. Every part of it was Black owned.
That's so amazing. I mean, I understand my team. My team is good. I mean, this ain't about me. This your interview.
Nah, you good.
Now, but no, so I just wanted to and I appreciate you saying that too. So now you do the insurance. You're number one. Yeah. Number 3 in the entire state, DMV area, right? And then you keep moving forward. And you said that you started 4 6-figure earning businesses within that time frame. Because this is only 2025. So keep in mind, he just said he got his license in 2019, opened his own franchise in 2020, was number 1 that year. And from that point, began to continue building. Tell us about some of the other things that led you to this moment, because where we're going, so tell us.
So, again, still working with the community. So in 2021, we started Greenwood Conglomerate. It was an office suite of Black-owned businesses. We had a space in Hampton that was, co-working space for Black-owned businesses. And out of that, we had Access Human Services, which were the wraparound services for the city community. And that got a contract with the city of Newport. Then from there, we did business coaching and really coached businesses from all around the world. Jamaica, we had up and down Switzerland, up and down the East Coast, Texas. So got into business coaching. That was the 3rd 6-figure business, and then we got into software. And so again, when I got into the entrepreneurship, my goal was to help us to build wealth and shield wealth, right? In order to build wealth, there are 4 things that had to be done. 1 was increase your income. Okay. 2 was protect potential prosperity. 3, drive down debt. 4, accumulate assets, right? Because you can't drive down debt, protect potential prosperity, or accumulate assets without the money. And so how do people increase their income? Entrepreneurship is an opportunity where you kind of control your paycheck.
Right.
And so if you take strategies that have been proven and systems that have been proven and put them into a business, we took the same strategy and the same system and put it into the business, and that's what produced all these 6-figure businesses. So we started coaching other people on how to do that. And then it got to the point to where it was like, well, let's do some technology to help to even further systematize what we're doing. And that brought about FloWsper. And FloWsper has been around for about 2 or 3 years now.
Okay.
And so we've worked with, again, coaches and entrepreneurs throughout the United States, and pivoted now to work with real estate agents. And really going into that. And so I know this season is about wellness. And so one of the core concepts that I teach through coaching, though, are these 5 rings of success, right?
5 rings of success. Get your pen.
Well, this is your whole season. So when you said what you said when the season was on, I'm like, yeah, this is so great to me.
Yes, awesome.
So the 5 rings of success, it's almost like a bullseye. So you got these rings, and the bullseye is your spirit, right? Okay. And so when you think about how you move, how you function, how you go throughout the day, I always say that work should be a part of your day and not the start of your day, right? And so what that means is when I wake up, the first thing that I need to take care of is my spirit, right? The next thing I need to take care of, which is like the next ring in this, is my mind. The next thing is my body, and then my relationships, and then my finances, right? So when you think about it, what I just said was, if you take care of your spirit first, your mind and your body, you poured enough into yourself so that you can pour into the relationships, right? So you don't get to money without relationships. There's nowhere where you're going to be able to make money without having a relationship. That's what a market is. A market is made up of what? Buyers and sellers, which means that you need other people. What we do, though, oftentimes is we may run into relationships while abandoning ourselves. So we don't pour into ourselves spiritually. We don't pour into ourselves mentally. We don't pour into ourselves physically. And then we try to start in relationships, right? So what we do is we work from the outside in instead of from the inside out.
Right.
So we try to do money, then we try to do relationships, and we try to find our fulfillment in these external avenues when really the better way is let me pour into myself first spiritually.
You better tell them. Right. I mean, this young man is saying some stuff today. I mean, and the thing that I love about this is because some people never discover this, right? Mm-hmm. So I hope that today, whoever you are watching, right? Because, you know, I tell people all the time, you attract who you are. So me and Money Briggs sitting here as colleagues, right, in similar sales industries, still with core values to help and assist and uplift others. That's the reason why we're connected here today. So these concepts, we can intersperse these concepts in different ways, right, and still have a similar understanding. But so many people never get to understanding that everything is you.
Yeah.
Right? And 120%. And it's so crazy because I love this because all I tell people is the only thing you can control is yourself. Mm-hmm. But saying that, right, is this, right? Is spirit, mind, body, relationships, finances. It's like if you understand that only how you relate to yourself first is what you will attract, is what you will be, is what you will become, is who you will also attract. This is just really, I knew this was going to be a good episode. This is episode 23, okay? We is killing it. So I am so thankful for you sharing one of your core concepts with my audience, right? That's a gift. Yeah. Y'all better write it down, okay? Wrap your mind around it, right? Really, really dope. So now, that is how you've operated all these businesses with that mindset in mind. And so in bringing into focus this company that's your primary focus now, FloWsper, you said to me earlier what the name meant. Yeah. But you guys should know by now, I don't want to get too much info before the interview because I want the person to be able to really tell us together. We learn together. It's like a mental unboxing, okay? So let's tell us now, what is the definition and mindset of FloWsper, and what is that? You know, how'd you come up with that?
Yeah, so FloWsper is FLOWSPER, and so it's the words flow and prosper put together, right? Mm-hmm. And so when you think about flows, what we talked about earlier, is where there is no resistance. Mm-hmm. There is, there's like entrepreneurship. You have to have diligence and work, but you don't want it to feel like a strain. Mm-hmm. And oftentimes where we start to feel the strain is where we get so immersed in tedious tasks that it removes us from our zone of genius. Mm-hmm. And so one of the things with the company that we wanted to do was help entrepreneurs to get back to that space of being in flow. And so a lot of entrepreneurs, they fell in love with entrepreneurship because they wanted to help and they wanted to serve others. They didn't realize that when they got into it, that they had to do marketing, and then they had to do sales, and then they had to do admin, and then that's not why they got into entrepreneurship.
Right.
So FloWsper, from the tech standpoint, is to help them to find that area of flow and be able to focus only on the things that they were called and created to do. And from there, then prosperity comes, right? Because now when I'm operating in a space of flow, when I'm operating from a place of purpose, then the fruit of that is also sweet. If I operate from a bitter place, then the fruit of that is going to be bitter. So the prosperity that comes is attached to that ability to operate in flow. And so what FloWsper is it's a CRM platform that helps individuals to flow and prosper.
You know what? That is smooth. And that just goes to show you've been in sales a while. I tell you what, hey, look, I'm sold. Okay, I'm like, oh, okay, that sounds so good. I'm sitting here like, yeah, that's what's up. No, but really, I know your product is an excellent product. I know it is an excellent product because that's what you do is turn out excellent, right? So that's the thing is that we haven't had a whole bunch of conversations, but every time we do, there is something to be learned, right? And I hope that you in turn feel the same.
Absolutely.
I think that we as entrepreneurs in Hampton Roads and here globally with the intention to help others, this product. So first of all, the reason I'm saying all of this is to make sure that you guys understand that all the contact information, as is every episode, the website, how to reach out to Money and his team, okay? How to connect, how to get your business consulting, how to also get your insurances covered, okay? You want to be with the best, here you go, right? So you want to get all of this stuff, all of that is going to be down below. So, on every episode, everything, they will be able to reach you. Your socials, all your info is down below. So you're going to have to like and subscribe. Remember, we're trying to get to 1,000.
Come on,
we got to get to this 1,000. I'm working so hard on it, okay? Don't you see me working hard? So it's really dope that you have been able to, and I mean, this is the thing. Time is relative, right? I could say in such a short period of time, but it's really not a short period of time.
Yeah.
Because you've been working, like you said, towards purpose and with purpose for so long that things have naturally unfolded in a successful way because of the work and the prayer behind it, the belief, the faith walk of it all, and knowing and believing in yourself, right? We all, like I tell new agents all the time, like they forget that it is sales, but the reality is any entrepreneur, no matter what business you're in, you could own a screws company. You could own a light bulb company. Somebody has to know that you invented this light bulb, and so you're in sales. So sales is not a bad thing.
No.
What is when we overlook each other because we feel like that product may be less, not realizing that not only are you going to get a partner in business that reflects similar ideals, but the products might actually be better or more innovative because that's what we are known for is innovation. So what I challenge the watcher and our viewers to do is to look into, because we are still in Black Business Month. Look into Black businesses in your area and go and learn something new. Go and work with someone new that is in your community if you're not already doing that, so that you can discover and also link up with this guy if you want to grow your business, okay? If you're looking to grow your business and you're looking to be in flow, he is a contact nationwide, globally. He already said they're all over the world. So, and with AI and with technology, we can help you anywhere. So you figure that he is here to help with that. So now, to round it all out, because I know your time is short. This guy's a busy guy, okay? And I'm watching the clock. So now I want to make sure that as we end out your episode, which again, I'm honored that you came on, what would you like to impart upon the Winning Mindsets audience to kind of just encourage them forward? Or what is your last thoughts that you'd like them to know?
Yeah. My last thought will be you were made with a purpose, for a purpose, and on purpose, right? And understanding that no matter the circumstances around your genesis or your creation, you are intentionally here. And you're intentionally here because there is a problem that you were made to solve. And there is value in how you solve the problems of others, right? So you are someone's medicine. You are someone's answer. You are someone's healing. And when you can step into the fullness of what that means, that you're not here accidentally, that shift in your mindset helps you to show up in spaces that you belong differently. Because right now you may inhabit some spaces, but you inhabit spaces not as your full self. You come in and you're comparing yourself to others. You come in and you're saying, but this person has this and I don't have that. And there's all of these things that may run through your mind. But a winning mindset is not just being aware of, but taking ownership of the essence of who you are. And again, you're the healing, you're the medicine, you're the answer, to someone's question, you were divinely placed here for that reason, for that purpose. And so I hope that you walk in that.
Wow. Well, that was certainly inspiring, I must say. I mean, I don't, who can I follow that with? I appreciate you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you so much for joining Winning Mindsets episode 23. It is Flawless Living Made Simple. Hey, you guys, keep tuning in, like and subscribe. I really hope that this episode inspires you greatly, okay? There is just so much that we can continue to do when we work, link, and think together. And once we do those things, we got to act, right? Let's act accordingly. I will see you guys soon. Thanks for watching.
Have a great one.